What's up, guys? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. Finally got up crack of dawn early. I think it's about 5:30, 6 in the morning, something like that, on my day off. So we are going to try and get this shovel head done. I got to clean up some tools and stuff because we cleared off some tables, but underneath all this crap that I got to go through, I do have a box of parts which should give us everything we need to get the rest of this together. Hopefully. No promises. I feel like every time I say that, it ends up not being the entire thing, but let's dig in, open this box up. Oh man, it's been almost a week that I had these parts sitting here. Wondering why the box was so heavy, and I forgot I bought oil to restock the old shelves. Case of primary bits, that should cover me for a little while at least. And what do we need for this? I did get some sportsters. There we go. There's the sprocket we need. What else? Chain tensioner kit. What the hell did I buy? Brake fluid. Cheaper than the 20 bucks at the hardware store. And we got a kicker cover stud. What else we got here? Solenoid kit. This is for the ironhead. I bought new snap rings for the clutch hub. That'll be helpful. I was worried about that. Drain plug. And kicker studs. Okay. That'll do. Lots of goodies today. Okay. Well, let's open some stuff up, clear out some space. See what else we got here. So ironhead, drain plug, kicker studs, and snap rings. Why are there... Don't know why. Did I double order the snap rings? We are good to go. Let me get set up and grab a couple tools for this. Oh, shoot. I think my impact's over at the powder shop. That's all right. We'll get this laid out and at least semi-prepped today. And then I gotta run over there, work, handful of hours, meet up with some customers, and then I'll be back over here later this afternoon, so not that big of a deal. On the primary, we're gonna rough lay this out with the new sprocket. Comes with the spacer kit, but I don't think I'm gonna need it. Based on the current location of this thing. I wish I could say that there was a ton of stuff I had to get done on here, but I really don't. It's just a matter of lining all of these bits up together. Give this a shot. Huh. I might need a shim. Oh, there's a cover plate on here. Let's get rid of that. That chain felt like it was rubbing on this cover plate. Old nut it is. This one does not seem to thread on proper. Yeah, I feel much better about this one. Just trying to check the gap. I know it's kind of hard to see. I want to make sure that's not rubbing on the pulley. Yeah, I can get a whole pick through there, not even dragging. That's fine. Well, there's that part. We'll have to Loctite this down, crank that in, and then we'll lay out our tensioner bits. Should have the hardware kit in the box, so let me grab that. Get this semi-aligned, then we can start throwing the clutch together. So, unfortunately, do I just grab that? Or did I throw that impact to my truck? No, that's at the shop. Okay, let me figure out what I gotta do. Maybe I gotta go for a drive. Okay, instead, we're gonna start doing some of the clutch basket assembly. Since we got all of that here, and this is all laid out. Won't be able to do a full final on it yet, but we can start. So, on these, just drop in. They will stack in here. Wasn't paying attention. The rattlers go the other way. So, fiber plate. Usually they're marked too, so here you see that out is stamped on there. Make sure you got enough room for the clutches to move around here. If the pins are worn out or the holes are too tight, you want a little bit of play on these discs. Lost my thrust washer. All right, there we have it. Clutch is in. Now we gotta make our pressure plate go back on, which is already set up and compressed. Play the line it up game. It's only a 3-shoe. Make sure you get it set up so your bolts come through here. That. And where are my clutch nuts? The clutch hub nuts, if you're using the factory style, are slotted on one way, so you can kind of only spin them one direction, like half turn at a time, which is fine. Sometimes, depending on how compressed your springs are, you gotta do them backwards until you get it seated far enough and enough threads. There's little nubs on this pressure plate that catch the slot in these bolts. Oh, you know what would be nice? If you put your clutch retainer plate in first. Whoopsies. That's what happens when I'm too busy talking and not thinking proper. So foolish. Why can't you guys talk through that thing? Tell me that I made a mistake. I don't have to keep redoing all this stuff. All right, so this one was set up on B before. We'll go back to that. Maybe. On stock style ones, I usually don't even run these. They're not my favorite. I mean, they're supposed to help, but I haven't really had issues with mine in the past running the stock cage either. BBB, that's where we were at before. And let's get our snap rings out. So this is like a plastic clutch tamer. It's supposed to help you adjust that plate, like the letters A, B, C. I do have one of these in my Superglide, but you have an A, B, C. It's a different depth to set this clutch basket in. So in theory, it's supposed to help you kind of keep that stationary and not walk around as much. But I'm not the biggest fan. I like the stock ones personally. I think the stock steel plate works just fine. And then you use, instead of these little snap rings that go in here, it's like a compressed spring that tapers. I wonder if I got one around here. If I remember, I'll grab one and show you the stock steel plate. The snap ring pliers might not be small enough for these snap rings. That wouldn't be very helpful, would it? You know what? I'm not loving that. Oh, duh. Come on. What the hell is wrong with me today? It's too early in the morning, that's what. Sitting here complaining about this not going in. I didn't get all the clutch discs out. Dummy. Why is this not snugging down? That's foolish. Oops. Geez, I'm on a roll. On a friggin' roll today, let me tell you. All right, B is what I said, right? Okay, now we should have grooves for the snap ring to catch here, if B is proper. I guess we can actually check these, huh? Yeah, good there. Where's my other B? Let me grab my light. Okay, well, right, took a quick trip to the other shop, grabbed the 1/2 inch impact. Now, off camera, I just hit that with some brake clean. Got a dab of red Loctite on there. I don't want that coming off. So, snug all these down now. Come on. If it starts turning, you're more than good. It's turning that motor over, in my opinion. So there we have that. Now our compensator's in, our clutch is in. Everything should be good. Check for an air gap down the back side of that real quick. Still plenty. So we are good to go. All right. That's promising. So nuts tightened down, Loctited, shifter shaft, all of this stuff is in. Well, what do we got next? We got the chain tensioner. So we can finish that up, and then I think we're pretty much ready to put the primary on. I gotta put a snap ring on the shifter linkage up here, but we got the new seals installed. We'll grease that when we put the outer primary on. Make sure that we got a good seal on there. But did buy a new clutch tensioner adjuster bolt here. We're recycling the old plastic bits in there. Got a kit with all the other stuff instead of buying just the bolt itself, because you never know when you're going to need them. So let's grab our bolt here. Come on. So much plastic. This is going to be kind of a pain now, actually, because I didn't have this piece up in the air yet. So here's that spacer plate that we needed from the back side of this. Can you guys see that? Let's see if we can work through here. This piece in the back slides up and down. That's where our bolt's got to go. So what we're going to do is take our new bolt, put that in, and try and just get a couple threads started here. Then it'll be adjustable. There we go. Now, I need a 9/16 socket. Now we can pretty much adjust the primary chain where we want it. Half inch of play there, maybe an inch. I think that should work. Sweet. Put actual hand ratchet on there, snug that down, but that should be good. Good enough for me anyways. Need to come back and change or adjust that down the line, you can. This is accessible. There we go. Chain. You don't want to go crazy tight on these. I mean, I might adjust this a little bit tighter too, but we'll see where everything kind of lines up on all of that. Primary is done, wiring is done, electrical is done. Don't forget your thrust. Wow, can't see anything, can you? So, chains adjusted, tightened. It's a little loose, but we can fine tune, tweak that if needed. Thrust washers on here. I think we're good to just kind of brake clean up all the rest of the inner bits, clean that up as best we can. Then I need a seal or a snap ring here for the shifter. Tight, done. Clutch wise, oh, that's what I was going to show you. On the clutch basket, you're not going to be able to see my hand up on the lever, but I ended up backing these out a couple turns just because, I'll show you. I had these 3 turns in. Let's go one more half turn, see what happens. I'll show you. Okay, so I readjusted the clutch nut too, off camera. So that's all tightened down. But right now, I can't turn this basket, but when I'm pulling the clutch, lo and behold, it spins just fine. Tight, spins. That's what you want. You should be able to do it by hand. If you can't, adjust these. Where I originally had these nuts adjusted in, I think we went 4 turns total from flush. It was getting a little tight and like the clutch didn't have enough room to compress and move, so I couldn't get that to spin free. But we're in pretty good shape now. So good on the clutch. A little bit of cleanup, and then I think we'll be ready to put the primary on. The snap ring I should have no problem getting to after, so we're not going to worry about that one. We'll hose all this stuff down. Clean this up a bit. This thing's just been sitting a while. I want to make sure it's pretty good. Backside's done. Everything's in pretty good shape. Once we get the gasket and the primary on, we should be okay. So let's dig out a primary. Well, go figure. We are down to the last little bit of this, and holy gasket mismatch. I think I got more at the house, but this is the gasket they sent me. What? It's not even close. The bottom maybe kind of lines up. Can I look at the cut on here? Let me check it on the other primary. Oh, good old high quality cheap V-twin crap. Luckily I should have another one of these sitting somewhere, but here, okay. Maybe, not really, but maybe. Yeah. It's not helping anybody. It's like this upper section got drawn out horribly. So let me dig around for a James gasket. I don't know if I got one here at the house. I might. I got a whole thing of gasket. Is that in the trailer? No. Another trip. Great. Okay, since we are switching this to a closed sealed primary, we are going to do a little RTV, which I'm not a huge fan of most of the time. But in this case, since it will be oil bathed, we are going to do a slight little bit on here. I'm going to use it more as a sealer, especially over this blasted surface. There's some porosity in the aluminum. So we're going to do a smear on the inner, and then I did find a James gasket, so we use a James gasket on the outer, which should help. Not trying to do a crazy heavy coat, but I do want to get a little bit of silicone on here as a little bit above a buffer, if you will. So I'm just going to do a quick hand application here, not making a big bead around the whole thing because I don't want that much. This is case sealer too, not technically RTV. Not trying to build up a big section to like, it's not an intake manifold, so just a smear to add in sealing. I guess I could have used the gasket cinch stuff too, but being a full wet one, give every fighting chance for this thing to seal up and not leak. I do not have RTV on my other one. Any of them, actually. But my primaries were slight. I mean, this one's actually in pretty good shape overall, but there's definitely some porosity on the edges of this, so. Very light smear all the way around. All right. Clean up, then we'll throw that James primary on. The James one does have a silicone bead sealer on the outside, which I'll show you guys in a second. So it does have the silicone bead around the outside here, which should be helpful when we get around to getting to our inner. Let me grab a couple primary bolts and lay this out first. I know this is counterintuitive, but I haven't looked at the outer yet, so I'm just gonna put a couple placeholders in here to make sure these things kind of have a chance to set up. And this shouldn't really tack up until we actually bolt the primary up. And this way I can at least have all the bolts right here. Okay. Man, look at how nice that gasket fits compared to that cheapo one I got over there. That's funny. All right, I'll throw a little bit of grease in here on the starter solenoid bearing. Up top, right up there. And he just had this primary polish, so try not to get my hands, grubby hands all over it too much. And we need a little grease on our shifter. Trying to touch this primary as little as possible, so now that our gasket's semi-tacked in place, just to get them started. Come on, shifter. All right, we gotta go through the shifter shaft first. Make sure that gets lined up and in for alignment. Then line up your bearing like that. And I'll just get this started before the gasket slides at all. Too tight. Come on, shifter. There we go. Definitely better if you get that shifter in first. Then we'll walk around with a couple of these bolts. Make sure the gasket seats properly where it's supposed to. Come on, throw it in. Doesn't seem like anything moved here. I'll grab a socket in a second. God. These aren't tight at all. I'm just kind of loose fit, snugging them up. And I should have 2 more bolts. Oh, you know what? He's missing one. I should have another 1/4-20 sitting around here somewhere, though. Should be all of them except for the top 2, top 1. All right, I have another 1/4-20 hex around here. Definitely got one. Let me dig through, find a bolt. We'll put that last one in. Let that set up a little bit. We'll final torque it a little bit later today. And that's pretty much it. Let me just fill it up with oil, snap ring here, hook the battery up and the battery cover and the shifter. But we're pretty much there. Maybe that'll be a second video because this one's getting long. Primary's back assembled, minus a bolt, and final tightening down, but looks like a bike again. It's amazing what you can get done when you start at 5:30 in the morning. We'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully we can fire this up later today, which will be video number 2, or in the next one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.